This video is sponsored by Morning Brew. More on them later. I recently finished reading a book called The Richest Man in Babylon, and it really inspired me to make this video about frugal living and building wealth. While I do make videos about money, I try my very best to make it clear that I am far from an expert, and I only ever share the things that I do as I continue to learn more about personal finance myself. I still work a regular job and I still buy my pants at Target, so needless to say, I'm still figuring this out. So today I'm going to share a few things that I took away from this book, as well as a few things that were inspired by this book that I'm doing to build wealth. But first, if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. Here we talk about minimalism, frugal living, tech, and things of that nature. So if that sounds good to you and you end up liking the video, be sure to like and please tar and feather the subscribe button. Let's get started. Pay yourself first. How the book explains it and how I like to think of paying myself first is just by setting aside a portion of my income for saving or investing. And every single time I didn't think this was possible because I thought I just made enough to get by, I always managed to make it work because I had to. This proved the point that even if the smallest amount was put aside monthly, it was still possible. And saving 10% was a great starting number because thanks to the power of consistency, this small amount compounded over time. One of the best ways I found to do this was with automatic transfers. And I know with Chase, I'm able to automatically transfer money from my checkings to my savings. And with Vanguard, I'm able to do the same thing with my investment account. Part of what you make is yours to keep was probably one of my favorite quotes from this book. Meaning that after I pay all my expenses, my necessities, basically everything I need to survive, there's still a little bit left over that's mine to keep and mine to decide what to do with. Now, just for a minute, I want to talk about the sponsor of today's video, which I think a lot of people will find useful, Morning Brew. Morning Brew is a free daily email newsletter that I've been using since about 2017 when I actually came across them on YouTube from one of my favorite channels. I never really follow the news regularly, but there are things about money and the tech world that I'm definitely interested in hearing about. It summarizes tech, finance, and a lot of what I talk about in my videos into easy to digest articles, while traditional news can be really dense, boring, and confusing. I actually just learned that there's a high-speed train that opened up near me that goes all the way to Orlando, so I might have to check that out. Basically, if I were to design a website about news articles, between its content and simple aesthetic, Morning Brew would probably be it. Over 4 million professionals read it, and it takes about 10 seconds to sign up, and it's completely 100% free. Sign up for Morning Brew today for free by clicking the link in the description. Thank you, Morning Brew, for sponsoring this part of the video. Now back to building wealth. Live within my means. Arguably the most important thing to remember when it comes to financial minimalism is to just live within your means. And by the way, this book takes place thousands of years ago, meaning that everything on this list is timeless and simple. This means that I should structure my lifestyle and my spending in a way that aligns with my current income and financial resources. It's about avoiding excessive debt, prioritizing expenses, and just saving and investing what I can manage. Besides the obvious practical things that living within my means allows me to do, like allowing me to save more, there's of course the inherent reduced stress that comes along with it that can't be underestimated. And this is also incredibly important because living within my means helps me avoid lifestyle inflation, which I've experienced firsthand. The scenario where when I made more money, I just always found a way to spend it. Once I found the core things I wanted in my life, or the things that I deemed essential, I never found myself spending that extra money I made whenever I got a new job or something like that. My point is, living within my means provides financial stability and resources necessary to invest, save, and avoid debt, all of which contribute to the accumulation of wealth over time. Make your money work for you. And personally, this is probably my favorite point on this list. However, I'm very aware it sounds like some pretentious financial YouTube guru mumbo jumbo, but it really makes sense. Basically, all this means is taking the money you have saved and earned and putting it to work in ways that generate additional income or returns. And I can absolutely say that I'm afraid of spending money I've saved over a long period of time, but who isn't? I'm learning that in order to truly make money and grow wealth, sometimes that requires a little bit of spending. Even if it's something as simple as just buying groceries in bulk or buying small shares of a stock, the idea that over time money has been saved or gained. I'm still exploring ways to make my money work for me. As of right now, I'm just investing into a couple investment accounts. Down the road, I plan on making a purchase that will probably drain my entire savings, but will also create an additional source of income. The key thing I took away from making my money work for me was to not become so attached to what I have saved and look at money as sort of a tool to be used to multiply itself. Protect your wealth. And protect your wealth is about taking proactive steps to safeguard your finances and ensure a secure future. What this means to me is to literally protect my finances from poor spending decisions, investing without research, and taking on debt, all of which are essentially protecting my money from myself, I suppose. I hate thinking that we trade our time for money, mostly because it scares me just how true that actually is. And time being the thing that I value most, it should scare me and it should encourage me to protect whatever I traded that time for. Having a budget, avoiding debt traps, and building an emergency fund are sort of like putting up a wall. Unnecessary spending, taking on debt, and poor investments are things that would chip away at that wall. So protecting my wealth has sort of been something that's just been in the back of my mind ever since learning about it. And it's made me a little bit more cautious when it does come time to part with my money. Invest your returns. And the last point on this list is sort of a result of everything on this list because it takes factors from every other point. Once I took care of a few obligations like paying off my debt and building an emergency fund, I knew that only saving every single penny that I made wasn't a sustainable way to actually build wealth. Because just having it isn't enough. It could be one purchase or one emergency that could completely eliminate my savings and then I would just be back to square one. The most valuable thing I took away from this book that genuinely changed the way I thought about wealth was to invest all of my returns. I will say that when I listen to people talk about investing, especially on YouTube, it usually stops right there. Buy stocks, open an account, etc. And me, still being very new to this, was very confused. Because I really just wanted to know where I actually went to buy stocks and open an account and just actually take the steps to start investing. So I'm thinking about making a video about how to start investing for absolute beginners and we can sort of learn together. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. Anyways, whether it's something tangible like an appreciating asset, which I have a total of 0 right now, or something incredibly passive like just opening a free brokerage account and investing money there. Investing my returns will eventually create a compound effect of growth and ultimately build my wealth. I do talk a lot about saving and I still think it's very important and a responsible thing to do, but as I'm learning a lot later in life than I would have liked, that in order to truly build wealth, I need to prioritize investing over saving. So I hope a few things from this list will prove to be useful for you and you can apply them into your own financial routines. Anyways, as always, I appreciate the time you spent here and I appreciate you watching. If you did like this video and you like this type of content, be sure to like and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you next time.